Do you struggle to maintain tightness or stability during the bench press? If so, then keep watching because today I'll be going over how to create a stable platform by mastering the 3 points of contact you need to have during a bench press. That'll be the upper back, the glutes, and how the feet are interacting with the floor. So now that we have our 3 points of contact, let's go ahead and go right down the chain and we'll get started with the upper back. So upper back tightness is super important for a proper bench press. There's 2 reasons for that. First off, you want the traps to be driving down into the bench to create an opposite force for you to press off of. The more stable you can be through the upper back, the more stable of a platform you're going to have to press through. Now past that point, driving the traps into the bench properly is going to lift the chest, and the further we can get that pointing towards the sky, the better the chest is going to activate, the better the technique is going to be for a heavy bench press. The way that this is going to look in practice is you're going to get the traps digging into the bench by allowing the shoulders to go back and digging in right like that. I like to press backwards onto it so that the traps are going down and back into the bench and creates a nice stable platform. But look at where my chest is pointing with this. The chest is nice and open down at the bottom, and when I'm up at the top, it's getting a hard contraction, squeezing the sternal area of the pecs, the big portion of the muscle that's going to be responsible for actually moving the weight. So the next one up in the chain is going to be the glutes. Super important because it's going to be the transfer point of how you're getting energy from the feet for leg drive straight up through the body so that you can actually use it to press properly. So with the glutes, you want full activation, and we want that curve from the upper spine to be transferring directly over to a curve in the lower spine. So we want always to be aiming towards the sky with the core, and activating the glutes and trying to extend the knees back into the floor is going to be the way to do that. So how I'm going to get set up is I'll start with the upper back setup just like we did before, roll it back, drive down into the bench, get myself set, and notice how my hips here are already completely activated, squeezed back and extending the knees back for proper hip extension. That's keeping the chest high and the core high, so if I take in a big belly breath, you can see everything is tight towards the sky. And this tightness in the glutes allows me to properly press the weight from my feet straight up through the body for proper leg drive. So the last part of the chain that we're going to go over today is how the feet are going to be placed and what exactly we're going to be doing with them. So I'll start this off by saying I'll give you 2 techniques. One of them is for beginners because it's easier to maintain stability and tightness. The second is going to be for more advanced bench pressers. It's way harder to maintain tightness with this foot position, but you can drive way harder, like significantly harder if you can get this down. So let's go ahead and get this started. Let's go ahead and get set exactly the way we were for the last 2. Get everything done properly down the chain, drive into the traps, get set, nice tight glutes. And the first one is the feet are going to be tucked under here so that we're maintaining that tightness all the way from the glutes down to the floor. So here, it's not going to be optimal to be creating leg drive because there's only so much that you can push directly upward if you don't have the ability to push back, but it's way harder to fall out of this bench press form. So this will keep you kind of stuck in this position. So not optimal for leg drive, but the stability is much easier to maintain. Now what we're going to do for the advanced guys is go ahead and reset up. I'll go ahead and press the traps down into the bar, get as much of an arch as possible, and keep the feet out in front of the knee joint. Having the feet out in front here at the knee joint will allow me to directly drive down and back so that I'm pushing all of that energy directly through the upper body. Now it's much more advanced because there's the capability of you slipping, there's the capability of the foot pushing forward entirely. There's a lot more that could go wrong, but when you get this done right, it directly leads you to pressing huge amounts of power up through the body, creating energy to press upward.